The NBA draft happening in less than 1 week time. Regarded as one of the most wide-open drafts in recent memory, especially when it comes to those lottery picks. Atlanta Hawks have the #1 overall pick for the second time in the common draft era. And as you take a look at our draft analyst Adam Finklestein's latest mock, he's got Zachary Risacher ahead of Alex Sarr for that top overall pick. And then UConn big man Donovan Clingan sliding out of the top 5, but still checking in at number 7. I'm Tommy Tran, joined by Mike O'Donnell to take a look at Adam Finklestein's mock and talk about some of these draft prospects as we get you ready for the NBA draft. And let's focus on the San Antonio Spurs, which last year had the top overall pick in Victor Wembanyama. For the 5th time in franchise history, they have yet another top 5 pick. They also have a top 10 pick thanks to the Raptors here. Stephon Castle and a name that we're learning here, Tijan Salone. Let's talk about Castle first and what he might bring to the table for the Spurs franchise.
You know, when you talk about San Antonio and the Spurs culture, I think Castle fits in really well. Freshman, Big East, Rookie of the Year, 6'6", big point guard. So you need someone to play with Wembanyama that can get out in the open floor, understanding space, drive and kick, you know, kind of play off of Wemby. Because that's really what your job. I mean, nobody's going to come close to that talent level. But at a 6'6" point guard, he's got a 6'9" wingspan. His ability to switch really 1 through 4 positions defensively, that's the first thing you kind of talk about. Where NBA scouts and coaches look at Castle and they're like, my goodness, the potential is off the charts because of how good he is defensively. His outside shot needs to improve. There's no question about it. But he dropped 15 against Purdue in the national title game. And he's just a relentless and ferocious attacker of the rim. Highly competitive guy, too. So fits really well in with that culture.
Okay. Speaking of fits, Adam has Dalton Knecht out of Tennessee going there to the Charlotte Hornets at number 6. So what type of fit do you think this makes with this pairing?
Well, let's just put defense to the side because Charlotte doesn't really play much defense. And Dalton Knecht, there's some defense to be desired in his game as well. But Dalton Knecht is the best scorer in this draft. And when we look back in 5 years, I think Dalton Knecht's going to end up being the best player out of this draft. He's over 21 points per game, and he's a 3-level scorer. I'm a huge fan of the way Dalton Knecht is able to manipulate defenses within space, in ball screen, in transition. He is such an athletic finisher. Think of Knecht at worst as an athletic version of Tyler Hero. He was 3rd in the nation in scoring efficiency behind Zach Edey and Jaden LeDee, and he does so many things on the court that kind of make you take a step back and say, whoa, had no idea he had it in his bag. You have to worry about his threes, over 41% from 3. He's going to score 20. He can give you 30. He's had multiple 40-point games as well. He dropped 40 against Kentucky. That was must-see TV. You know, when we watch the NBA and we talk about how Steph Curry, when he gets hot, everybody's on Twitter saying, you got to get to Steph Curry's game. Dalton Knecht has that type of heat check ability. Easily the best scorer in the draft. Defense must improve. But I don't know if there's a player in the NBA right now that you could say can be able to lock in and guard Dalton Knecht consistently for over 30 minutes.
You share a lot of the same sentiments as our colleague Matt Norlander. It's interesting. I was with him yesterday, and he put together his big board, which you can find on CBSSports.com. And again, not a mock draft, a prospect big board. He was trying to project these prospects for a lengthy NBA career. And he actually had Dalton Knecht as #1, given a lot of the attributes that you had talked about. If we get to Donovan Clingan, Matt also puts Clingan in this pot of 1 to 6 players. It could be the top overall pick, and certainly Clingan's gotten a little bit of buzz. I wouldn't call it steam. Adam's got him dropping a little bit outside of that top 6 to 7 to Portland. What do you think about Clingan at the moment?
I'd be shocked if Clingan drops out of the top 5 or top 3, but if Portland gets Clingan at 7, if he falls to 7, that's a huge win for the Trailblazers for a number of reasons. Number one, you're getting the best rim protector in the draft. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. The reason why Clingan may drop is because of those foot injuries, which, Tommy, you and I have talked about that, and that is an issue, right? You're taking a gamble. It's a risk when you're trying to invest in a player. But if he drops to 7, he goes to Portland, you're getting a player who is absolutely ferocious around the rim. You saw what he did in the NCAA tournament. Every time he's on the floor, offenses have a really hard time stopping him, and defenses have a really hard time slowing him down. That's one of those things when you look at 7'3", intimidating shot blocker, great rebounder, excellent finisher in the post. He's not a traditional center in that when I watch Klingan, defensively, I think of Rudy Gobert and his ability to alter shots. Offensively, a lot of Roy Hibbert in his game, fellow colleague at CBS. His passing ability, really underrated. Love his ability to drop dimes, especially in that point of attack on the top of the three-point line.
What is the concern level for you in terms of the injury for Nikola Topic? It's an ACL, and Adam's got him right now outside of the top 10, currently slotted 12 to OKC.
So my initial reaction is, well, we have no idea. Have I actually gotten in there and seen him on the court? But when you read everything and say, well, it's a minor injury to the ACL, which is just so different than ACL injuries from 10 to 15 years ago. We just treat those differently. And if it wasn't for that injury, Topic would probably be the #1 or #2 pick in the draft. A lot of people, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, there were a lot of mock drafts that had him 1, 2, or 3. And Topic is certainly a guy that if you pair him with the Thunder, think about putting him with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren in pick and roll action. He is regarded as the best pick and roll player in Europe. And you add Topic to this Thunder lineup, big Ricky Rubio vibes with Nikola Topic. He is a master in pick and roll, excellent at court mapping. And when we say court mapping, it's just essentially he's able to take a picture of the court and understand where everybody is and where everybody's going to be. That's what enables him to be such a great passer. About 14 points a game, over 5 assists a game, and there's 2 areas of, I would say, maybe concern outside of injury. Defense is good, not great, but it's not bad. And he only shoots barely over 30% from 3, so a lot of teams in Europe would go under him in pick and roll action. The NBA defenses are tailor-made to push up on a guy and force you to make threes consistently. I like that Thunder lineup, though. If the Thunder can get Topic, I mean, throwing lobs to Holmgren, that's tough stuff.
A young squad with plenty of potential still ahead, as we saw this postseason for the OKC Thunder. The Phoenix Suns didn't make it to the postseason, but they had a first-round flameout. To the uneducated eye, it looked like they were missing a Chris Paul type of player to go with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker here. But Adam's got Tyler Kolek out of Marquette, the standout with the Eagles here. What do you think a potential fit at 22?
You know what I like about you, Tommy, is we're going from one great passer to another. I could care less about athleticism, but Tyler Kolek was the best passer in college basketball last season, period. Led the country in assists, almost 8 assists per game. Very capable three-point shooter, over 38% from 3. Tenacious defender, big-time floor general. You're going to need really high IQ guys offensively who know how to manipulate space for Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. And when you watch highlights of Kolek, I couldn't think of a better player to pair with that trio of scorers. If they all stick together next season, you need guys that aren't just good passers or flashy passers. You need guys who understand, how do I like to get to my spot? How does Kevin Durant like to get to his spot? How does Booker like to come off pin downs and flare screens? Tyler Kolek from day one is going to be able to step into that role and understand their pace and space on the offensive end. So much Goran Dragic in Tyler Kolek's game. I love that fit for the Suns.
Okay, 6 days away from the NBA draft. We'll have you covered here on CBS Sports HQ. Mike, certainly appreciate it. He will be with us for our on-the-clock draft coverage show presented by Jeep. Tim Doyle will also be in the house. Again, there'll be 2 rounds. Barclays and Brooklyn will take care of June 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll get you ready before that.